Hi everybody and welcome back to TryMaga 2024. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new. So we are 5 months away from the 2024 presidential election, and it's important that we look at the election map right now. I have filled out all the states that are pretty much certain to go in the Republican column, and the states that are supposed to go in the Democrat column. All filled in. Yes, there can be surprise, but as of right now, the states that are not filled out are states that I believe could probably go either way. And Minnesota enters the conversation. I think it depends on the third party vote share. But I will say that Biden is probably still favored in the state of Minnesota. But on the flip side, you look at North Carolina. Donald Trump leads Joe Biden by four percentage points, and this is a state where the early polls underestimated Republicans time and time again. Even Quinn and even the Quinn and this poll here, um, by Bloomberg, Trump lead. It has Donald Trump leading the state, and then when you look at the five-way race right there, right here, you can see that Donald Trump's lead goes up to 7.5 percentage points. When all the when all the candidates that will be on the ballot are included, which means that it's going to be difficult for me to see him losing. He is going to win every state that he took in the 2020 election, and likely then some, because you look at the state of Georgia. Donald Trump near 50%, and he leads the state by 4 percentage points. And when you look at the five-way race, let's see. Got Georgia. He's by 6. He's leading by 6 points. And Georgia, and he leads by 6 percentage points. And while Democrats have achieved some recent successes in the state of Georgia, it's unlikely that Biden is really going to be able to hold his state and his column being as unpopular as he is. Especially now, because he's running a campaign on democracy and abortion. That's not going to get out enough black voters for him to take Georgia, because that's really what Democrats still need at this point to take the state. Donald Trump he's got his base very strong, very high. For Georgia is a state likely ends up uh, ends up yeah, sorry. No, at the end of the day, going his column. At the end of the day, which puts him in 251 electoral votes. We talk about the path of 270. He needs 19 more and he can get there a various amount of ways. And we know that, but still, the easiest way would just be to flip one of these states, and there's only one of these states. There's only one there's only one state that has enough electoral votes to get him there, and that state would end up being the state of Pennsylvania, where Donald Trump would where Donald Trump was yesterday, not yesterday, but the other day. And this is a state that was very competitive in 2016. It was very competitive in 2020. Both years where Donald Trump was on the ballot. Some people will say, what about 2022? And Donald Trump was not on the ballot in 2022. And we talk about the top of the ticket. You talk about Dobb abortion was was a very big issue in Pennsylvania. Republicans. Republicans ran a candidate for governor who basically said he does not support any exception. He ended up losing by over 14 points to Josh Shapiro, who outspent him by 50-1, with a barrage of attacks on the issue. Donald Trump is not exactly going to have the problem in a national election, especially when Donald Trump is somebody that can go out there and energize those low publicity white working class voters which exist in high numbers across the Rust Belt, where you kind of see Republicans in midterm elections or off election kind of struggling to galvanize their turnout in many cases with few exceptions. Sorry. But especially in the Rust Belt, you look at you look at polling, and it shows Donald Trump is in the lead, and every poll except for one poll, and one poll, the Franklin and Marshall poll, which is a margin of error by 5.7 points for one and only has a sample size of 430 registered voters. Now their previous poll had Biden leading by just one. Was there anything that changed in that time frame to justify a 10-point swing? No. But the poll gets even worse. When you look at the five-way race, there you go, click on it. Damn you. Right, and because Trump not only leads in the state and the polling aggregate and the state and the five-way race by 2 points, and yeah, I don't expect Kennedy and Stein and West to combine for 10% of the vote, but if they combine for 5% of the vote, that's still notable. But when you look at it, that poll actually has Trump getting a higher vote share overall. When the other candidates were listed, which is a little weird and somehow somehow Biden's lead is just 2 points, and that every two at every poll, which doesn't exactly seem to add up a whole lot, but nevertheless, you look at it. Trump is likely to still going to be competitive in Pennsylvania. The primary is going to be coming up, not the ju- ju- but whoever that's her, but it was last Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that. And while it is very likely that Biden gets more votes than Trump, because a lot of Democrats will vote by mail. And if you're going to be voting in an election that really doesn't have any implications, because the nomination process is decided, I would anticipate decide that I can't I can't just vote without having to go to the polling place, or prefers to vote that way. It's going to do better. And it's also important to note that Pennsylvania does have more registered Democrats than registered Republicans. It is a close primary. It was a close primary. So, my bad. A lot of those Trump independents are not really eligible to vote for Trump. And the state, anyways, in the primary, now I wouldn't read too much in the primary results whatsoever. Some people will, but it's not like a state that has an open primary. That's still like in this nomination process, where the nomination isn't decided. Like we saw in Michigan, for example, and some of these other states, where Donald Trump was outrunning Biden by a significant margin. By a significant margin. But you look at the state is very crucial. But because if Donald Trump takes the state of Pennsylvania, that's ball game. He can lose Arizona, and we'll watch what happens in the upcoming polling. We'll see if Biden gets a bump there. It's a possible. It's possible he doesn't, but either way, we'll see. But either way, Trump has a sizable lead in Arizona. He has a sizable lead in Nevada as well. But he doesn't need those states, or Michigan or Wisconsin. So long as he pick off the state of Pennsylvania, because it's looking like he's going to hold Georgia, and demographically speaking, Pennsylvania is a state that has 50% of the electorate being white working class. Is a state that Donald Trump has excelled, and where other Republicans have fallen short, and he's accelerated some of those trends in certain areas like Western Pennsylvania. That's kind of made the state a lot more competitive. Uh, and then it was and able to vote Republican in certain circumstances. That is just previously um, wasn't is and it's a razor thin state. Joe Biden It's technically his home state. Some will say he was seen as their third senator. He was known as that is has retired, but still the state was close in an election where a lot of things went wrong for Donald Trump, and he didn't really have a lot to a lot have a lot to exactly run on how now he has every single issue that he possibly can run on, and will stick everything has gone to shambles under Joe Biden. Somehow Biden is uh, going to try to claim that it's all Trump's fault, and Biden supporters will say, well, actually the things that are bad under Biden. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. That's not how politics works. And there is a big pathway for Donald Trump to achieve victory, uh, to achieve victory in the state, and we have the election shuffler here. Trump has just had to make 80,000 votes, and it's possible just based on turnout drop off, because turnout is likely going to dip from 2020 to 2024. It just like it even did from 2018 to 2022. You're probably going to see that margin affect Democrats. You're going a lot more as you look at Philadelphia County. Okay, where is it? I read back. Okay, I found it. For example, Biden with black turnout in Philadelphia, very good in 2020. Still, he lost ground in the county, and now is a recipe for disaster for Joe Biden, especially as a lot of those low positivity white working class voters and in Philadelphia, proper some Hispanics, they're trending to the right, and black voters are disillusioned with Biden. Doesn't mean they're going to vote. They're going to vote Trump, but a lot of them may just stay home or not turn out. That's going to help Donald Trump eat into Biden's margins. In that county, we talk about the total raw vote margin. Trump may cut that down substantially. He might cut that down to like around 20,000 votes. Wait a second. Alright, there. Okay, I got it back. Like around 400,000 votes. 400,000. And that would basically be enough to doom Biden and the state pretty much based off of that fact. Alone, already you see the margin cut from 1.2% to 0.2%. And top of that, what about the novelty of Scranton Joe in northeastern Pennsylvania, where Donald Trump was campaigning the other day, yesterday. Actually, he was there, and these counties even and even the midterms didn't exactly vote to poorly uh, for Republican comparatively. We're speaking, and we talk about the fact that Republicans won all the counties, selected by 20,000 votes, and it's possible they could ramp up that margin as Biden gas failed his home area. Now that's a talking point. Trump can use. He's reaching out to the union voters. His campaign is talking about issues that matter a lot more than his 2020 campaign. Was what it is that exactly going to do? It's going to stretch out his margin of victory in the area, and already boom, he has the state, and we talk about the Philadelphia suburbs, yeah, but Biden may be hitting the wall just because of his unpopularity. Doesn't mean people are necessarily going to vote for Trump, but a lot of these state and these suburbs, uh, a lot of them may stay home. Some may go third party. And I think that Biden, might gain some, but then Trump could easily make it up in Western Pennsylvania. And Erie County, even in the Supreme Court election, which Democrats were able to win by six, which was less than unexpected. Actually, mainly because they just hammered a abortion. Biden is really going to struggle to do that, as Trump is kind of saying, leave it to be a state's issue, and while uh, he'll still energize some of his base. That fact is not going to be enough when he's down on on every other issue, and based on the conflict in the Middle East, a lot of young voters are disaffected. With Biden, the whole ceasefire crowd, they've not going to turn out for Biden. A lot of voters will go for people like Joe Stein, but Erie County likely does flip based off of trends, uh, and that's kind of seen as the bellwether um, county. It still is kind of a bellwether, and Trump is going to increase his margin of victory overall. Now we see could now we could play around with the suburban shift for or whatever in Philadelphia, but then we could also do the same thing down in southwestern Pennsylvania, where those counties have a decent amount of people living in them, but have been getting redder and redder under the Trump era, because not all suburbs are created equal. It's not so much suburban versus rural as more college educated white versus non-college educated white, and that's what people need to understand. So Pennsylvania is going to be a close state. I think that I think that Republicans should be taking advantage of the mailing system more, or at least request the absentees and then deliver them in person if they have concerns, because that's how Democrats are able to get a leg up on Republicans. In this state, more so than some other states, like Michigan, well, even like Michigan. For example, where now there's in person early voting. Republicans tend to like in person uh, early voting that like the week before the election. That's how Republicans do so well, and places like Texas and Florida, and to a lesser extent some of these other states across the country. So they do need to take advantage of that to win for sure, because it all comes down to turnout. We know Biden is down on everything, economy and economy in shambles, and foreign policy in shambles. You talk about the border, that's shambles. Wouldn't really be enough of a word to describe what's going on at the border. But still, this is a state that is very competitive, and Trump is wise to focus on northeastern Pennsylvania. And you talk about Philadelphia city proper, even some the Philadelphia suburbs. There is a decent for Trump, because there's a high white working class population, but also Biden might be kind of hitting a wall, and some of these places where we talk about, even if Trump got Mastriano margins, and some of these counties surrounding Philadelphia, he only losing he only lose like 2% of ground, and the state, we know that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. He might lose some ground here, but it'll probably make it up elsewhere. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a razor thin state for sure, and that we know of. Trump is wise to focus on northeastern Pennsylvania. I've been saying that he needs to do for that for a while now. Call out Scranton Joe's failures as ironic. That he would even dare to call himself that as a result, Trump's probably going to end up gaining in Biden's home backyard. He likely win in the process, so this is a very close state. But it is not. But it's the most important state in the election. One could argue, because if Trump gets in that, it gets it. That's it. Yes, he could lose. He could lose it, and still, win. I think that if he lost the state, but the polls are accurate in Michigan and Wisconsin, then Trump does likely achieve victory, and we know that I still think Trump is the favorite in all of these states, not Phil and right now. But at the end of the day, Pennsylvania is crucial. So Trump going to Pennsylvania. Uh, is what is wise. We know is wise, and if he's able to focus on that, he's going to be in a very very good position. And if he's able to win, and to win it, that's that's game. Nothing else matters, and Biden will officially be cooked. So that's why it's important. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below. Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications, so you never miss another video. I'll see you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Try MAGA 2024 out.